Welcome to the stream. Last time on Touhou LostWord, Renko and Mary entered the last word, or ward. Ward is. It's very similar. And there they met some familiar yet not so familiar faces. With Aya, Sanae, and Kanako and Tsubaka near the end. And also they were split up in the end. Meanwhile, our protagonist met weird versions of Kokoro, Flander, Nitori and Aya again that looked like Yukari, Shikigami and Okina's backdancers. I wonder which of these two parts we're gonna follow mostly today. Or are we just gonna finish both of them? Considering it is the last ward finale. Which also makes me think, if they were going to put out Act 1 and Act 2 so quickly after one another, why not just put them into one? But okay. Enough talk. Enough words. Let's continue. Code L question mark, episode 4. Why do humans long for the sky? Why do they dream of spreading wings to soar through the air? Because they can't. Unless they are afraid of heights. The miraculous angel is beyond reproach. Aeronautical engineering began with the hot air balloon. Although it has no wings, it is simple and easy to control. It's evening now. No evening starter. So Mary, now that we've seen Sanae's school, and also you've met up again, why don't we go over what we discovered? Good idea. Let's start with... I can't say all my impressions out loud, so I'll write them here. To be honest, sneaking into the school was pretty crazy. And there was one reason for that. Mary. Well, I say sneak, but we are around the right age and uniforms aren't compulsory, so we just entered normally. We walked in through the front gate like we had every right to be there. No teacher came out to question us or anything. Perhaps it's a school under the old system, in name only, because it was pretty similar to a university campus. But it did look old, so maybe it's more like an ancient Greek academy, where the students taught each other. Anyway, that's not really important. Oh, but I should mention that it's an all-girls school. Even in the outside world, no man in Gensokyo. Now, getting back to why it was crazy. Mary really stood out. Hey, why are you smiling at me like that? Are you even listening? I mean, yeah, not many blondes, probably. Or European people, in general. Of course I'm listening. I'm even taking notes. I'm writing about Mary, but, well, I am listening, so I'll write those notes later. So, yeah, Mary attracted a lot of attention. I've never seen anything like that before. Everyone wanted to see her. As we walked down the corridors, heads popped out of all the classroom doors and windows. A few heads were even poking out of the tiny windows up high, used for ventilation. It was kinda scary. Also, a really handsome girl approached her and said, "Hey, you are cute. Wanna grab a coffee milk at the school cafeteria?" It was like a scene out of one of those old TV shows. There's a chance that I might have to write about that girl in another report. But for now, I dub her the Coffee Milk Prince. Mary shooed the prince away like she wasn't even there to peek into a certain classroom. And I followed her. That was why we were there after all. Sanae Kochiya was sitting at the back by a window. Main protagonist's seat. She was surrounded by friends who were chatting happily. Of course, she didn't get caught up in all the fuss over Mary. She had her books out and was preparing for the next class. But it wasn't like she was ignoring the people around her either. She responded with nods and shakes of her head. And her expression changed along with the conversation. She looked genuinely happy to be there. The warm light and gentle breeze coming in from the window gave the impression that this was where she was meant to be. She was perfectly normal. I kind of expected this, but people like her are always popular. You say that, but I was actually the most popular kid back in elementary school. Yeah, right. What? I was being serious. We spent the rest of the afternoon interviewing the students, making sure not to bother anyone in class. Let me summarize what we heard. First off, practically all the students mentioned how nice Sanae is. She never gets angry or says anything mean. She never lies and she keeps her promises. And she always tries to help people who are sad or in pain. Everyone agrees that she is an incredibly kind person. They were all happy to talk about her personality, and we heard lots of praise. None of these answers were contentious. Yes, she is very much the good girl, in other words. The thing mentioned second most often was how talented she is. She's smart, good at sports, and is a good teacher. She isn't superhumanly talented. There's nothing she cannot do. Her grades are nothing to scoff at either. I assume by teacher they mean that she is good at helping other students with their homework and stuff. There were also a lot of comments about her beauty. She has a cute smile and pretty hair, green, and she looks good in anything. It sounds like she'd have no problem winning a beauty pageant multiple times over. Now, onto the meat of the matter. Something was mentioned that was more in line with what we wanted to know. It was something said by practically everyone we questioned. But it was only ever mentioned in passing, usually tacked on at the end of another answer. They said, "If I have any problems, she'll hear me out and solve them." That's a really strange thing to say, isn't it? Yeah, usually you would say, "If I have any problems, she'll hear me out." Or, "She'll hear me out and offer some advice." Exactly. That alone would be very high praise for a friend. What's more, everyone we asked had a different problem, but Miss Sanae still managed to solve them all. I went to her with A, B, and C to get some advice, and she resolved all our problems. I went to see Sanae with 3 of my friends, and she helped us all even though we asked for different things. I brought friend 1, friend 2, and friend 3 with me to see her. Sanae is really amazing. There's no problem she can't solve. I omitted the names just in case. And understand that she is really talented and kind, but does that mean she can solve everyone's problems? It would be really difficult for one person to keep solving every problem. Someone's bound to ask for the impossible. Sometimes all you can do is lend an ear and maybe offer some advice. That's part of being human. Yeah, she may be perfect, but this isn't something a human can do. She'd need the help of a god, or a miracle, or two gods and many miracles, or be a god herself. A miracle. Ayala. Thanks for coming by again. Miracles aren't simply things that happen despite the odds. They are signs used by the gods to display their power. If a miracle happens, people will believe a god is present. They are deeds performed by a god out of pity and compassion for weak humans. She really is like an angel. Yeah, the role of angels is to share divine revelations with humans. If that angel game back then was a result of Sanae's ability to cause miracles to occur, it's possible she's using the same ability to solve problems. And her motive might simply be to help people. If she does have such an ability, then this might help us uncover the mysteries behind the lost barriers. If only we could have gotten more details. Perhaps we should have been a bit more insistent with our questioning? No, there's obviously no way we could have done that. Why? Because whenever there was a break between classes, a scrum would form around the princess. You are laughing at me again. Oh, you mean with princess? You mean Princess Maribel? No, I'm not. Oh. Ah! It seems you went and checked out the school. Thank you. Alright, let's hear what you found. Our place is right near here. Come on, follow us. You'll have to tell us all about it before Sanae gets back. Oh, by the way, you and Lack, we're having hot pot for dinner. Lead the way! Excitement about food. No fighting over food. M's Miracle Girl report. D. Your numbering and lettering is inconsistent, girls. D means 13 in hexadecimal. Yeah, but I'm wondering if she just lettered them A, B, C, D, starting with A. Sanae is going to follow in my footsteps. What are you on about? He's gonna become my apprentice. As what? This is delicious! You're not even listening. Homes are as varied as the people who inhabit them. They are like separate countries, enclosed within unique barriers. It's natural that different living spaces contain different things, but the atmosphere is what truly sets them apart. Or that's what I think anyway. Atmosphere can mean the ambience created by conversation or by different customs, but since humans are a type of animal, the atmosphere is also a scent. The smell of food, the smell of the building, the smell of the household items, and the scent of the people living here, smelling like old books, frogs and snakes. They all merge together to create a scent, an atmosphere unique to that household. The scent of the home you grew up in and the scent of your hometown are signals that help people distinguish their home community. The scent of your hometown is an ubusunagami. It's like each home has its own barrier. This isn't good. Yeah. So Sanae was the same as usual at school. I haven't been seeing the usual signs lately, so I had hoped everything had resolved itself. I don't follow. What are you talking about? Oh, sorry. It's just this isn't really something that should be discussed outside the home or the school. We've grown into the habit of keeping it a secret, but that's why you are the only people we can really talk to about this. So you have to talk to us because you shouldn't? Logically, that sounds like a contradiction, but I'm guessing this isn't about logic, is it? Only talking to who you are supposed to will create a closed community. Outside ideas are needed to solve the unsolvable. Miss Suvako was also Renko's senior at elementary school. That explains why she seems so wise despite being so small. She was a bit of a wild child who'd recharge the energy she spent running around in the wilderness by sleeping in class. You sent us to see what Sanae was like at school. There must be a reason for that. Right, Miss Kanako? Miss Suvako? Yes, but it's not easy to talk about. We don't want you to think less of Sanae. Let me say it. We have to finish this before Sanae gets back. Please, tell us. Please. Miss Sanae uses her ability to create miracles. She does this out of the goodness of her heart. That's our current hypothesis, but we are still not sure if it's correct. There's no evidence, and we haven't proved anything. To be sure, we need a testimony that can back it up. This is just our opinion, nothing more. Hard to say. We think Sanae is being bullied. They are sending bulls after her. Her classmates must be forcing her to do things for them, using the miracles and the angel as an excuse. That's the only explanation. Honestly, I can't see why you'd think Sanae is being bullied. Why would anyone want to bully her? And there weren't any signs. She'll solve any problem. You could interpret those words to mean that Sanae doesn't have any choice but to solve people's problems. Right, that makes sense. Of course, we still haven't found any proof of this. We can't really investigate the school because it's a closed community. But Renko, haven't you seen Sanae with an injury before? Yes, I have. Ever since elementary school, Sanae would always get injured. It was a regular occurrence. If we ask how she got hurt, she'd always say she fell. But I've never seen her fall, not even once. She's perfect, so she wouldn't just randomly fall. She hasn't sustained any injuries lately, so I had hoped it was all over. But the creepy way her friends ask Sanae to solve their problems hasn't changed at all. So that's why you sent us to investigate. But from what you said, wouldn't that mean Sanae has been getting bullied since elementary school? I vaguely remember her always having a sore knee, but I don't think she had many injuries around the time when the rumors about Sanae being an angel started to spread. It seems Renko has a clear idea of the sequence of events, even though this happened so long ago. Sanae didn't have a band-aid on her knee when the angel first became popular. That started later. But that could just mean the bullying started later too. Perhaps she got along with everyone at first, or maybe she really could cause miracles to occur. But then she stopped. Or maybe she wasn't able to cause them to occur any longer. So they forced her, but they probably couldn't have forced her to use an ability to create miracles. If she had such a powerful ability, everyone would be too scared to try and bully her. So does that mean her ability got weaker or disappeared entirely? No, Sanae has always had lots of injuries. But I clearly remember that she only started having band-aids on her knees in the later years of elementary school. Well, maybe she had band-aids elsewhere. It wasn't her knees. Huh? I've tried to look out for Sanae ever since I met her, so I can vividly remember. You're right that she only had injured knees later on, but she often had wounds in another spot when she was younger. Ah! It was her head. She had scratches on her face. She had band-aids on her nose and cheeks. Always. I never saw her without at least one. I even asked her about it directly. Are you being bullied? But she never said yes, no matter how many times I asked. She'd say, of course not, or don't worry, I'm fine. She acted the same as always. Seeing that smile would really hurt. That smile. I'm back! Sorry, I'm late again. Renko, Miss Mary. You came just as you promised. I'm so happy. Hmm? Everything's fine, Sanae. Don't worry about it. Renko's Miracle Report 5. I was surprised when I heard Sanae wanted to be an astronaut. That's usually a dream attributed to kids of an earlier generation. We live in an age where anyone can go to space. You can even go to the moon if you have enough money. That's a direct quote from Magical Astronomy or something. But after hearing her talk about it more over dinner, it made sense. It's pretty obvious when you think about it, but Sanae doesn't just want to go to space to have a fun time. She wants to be an astronaut. It's like how lawyers use the law to defend their clients, and how accountants manage other people's accounts. Astronauts go to space so other people don't have to. Tourist spots must be safe and secure. Even low prices won't bring in tourists unless their safety is assured. And this safety is created by pioneers, and for space, these pioneers are astronauts. You need lots of skills to become an astronaut, much more than other professions. First off, you have to be smart. You also need good management skills to make the most of your time in space. You have to be fit, since muscles deteriorate in zero gravity, and you'll have to rely on your own strength if machines fail. Getting sick in space could kill you, so you need a high constitution and good eyesight, and you can't have bad teeth. Spacecraft are minimalist societies. You need to be mature, cooperative, and respectful to avoid causing problems. Anything can happen on the frontier, so your true skills will be tested when you have to deal with unexpected situations. A single mistake could cost the lives of multiple people, forever losing the greatest minds humanity has to offer. You'll have to make the best decisions in a vacuum under time pressure, with the fate of humanity resting on your shoulders. That's what it means to be an astronaut. You may think that astronauts help each other out to make up for each other's weak points, and that they also get support from the surface, robots and AI, and you wouldn't be wrong to think that. Not exactly. The fact remains, however, that each individual astronaut is required to possess an extremely diverse range of skills. Sure, AI and robots have made their job a lot easier compared to what it was like in the past. In a vacuum under pressure, nonsense as it should be. Different kind of pressure. Emotional pressure. But that's only true if the AI and robots function correctly. Space can only be made safe if there are astronauts to test and make sure that the AI and robots won't malfunction. On the true frontier, you cannot follow anyone's lead. The only person an astronaut can rely on is themselves. This is because Earth has gravity, and Earth is where humans are born. Let me explain. There is this. Very funny. Something just was before my face, so I put my face back, and it is a spider that came dangling down on its rope, and now it is pulling itself up in front of my face. Can I please get rid of you before you do that again? Spider, please become an astronaut. And go away. Hopefully, no more interruptions from spider kind. Let me explain. While there may eventually come a time when designer babies are born in space to become astronauts, that time hasn't arrived yet. Humans are still born on Earth and are still subject to its gravity. Sending things and people to space is incredibly difficult because they must overcome Earth's gravity. It requires a lot of energy, lots of fuel and propellant. Some rockets don't need fuel and only require energy. but they cost a whole lot more, so the result is basically the same. If you're sending something to space, the lighter and smaller the better. Efficiency is everything. No, it was not a daddy long leg. It was a very tiny spider. And I at first thought it was just a bit of dust. Instead of bringing 2 astronauts, 1 astronaut who can do A and 1 astronaut who can do B, it's way better to bring 1 astronaut who can do both A and B. It's even better to bring 2 astronauts who can do both A and B. Not only is this cheaper, but less redundancy lowers risks and opens more possibilities. Okay, having 2 that can do both is not cheaper. It improves everyone's overall survivability. Cooperation is only said to be useful because it increases the range of skills available to a group. It improves diversity. But as long as all the necessary skills are covered, the smaller the group, the better. Especially if you have to compete against gravity. The most optimal would be if 1 astronaut could operate an entire spacecraft. You'd think such a person doesn't exist, but Sanae Kochia is perfect. I would be an even better astronaut if I could lose more weight. But I can't exactly make myself shorter. Wow, you're really going all out, huh? Sanae said this as she pinched her pale skin. It was as if she was saying that she had excess weight to lose there. It's not unusual for people our age to worry about our physique, but I doubt anyone has the same reason as Sanae. But, well, it won't be long until we can replace our bodies with machines, so that will surely become a problem of the past. I bet anyone else would say that's a waste. By the way, Sanae, what is it? Why are we in this tiny tub together? Oh! Taking a bath together, are you? For context, we are currently taking a bath, squished together in the same tub. Mary being somewhere very jealous again, I am sure. Well, squished might be an exaggeration, but there isn't much space. I definitely wouldn't call this relaxing. We are sitting facing each other. What do you expect? We aren't exactly rich. That's why the 3 of us are sharing this apartment. It's fun living with roommates. Hey, errand finished. Philosophy only works when you're in water. Okay, makes sense. As much as everything else. She's basically saying she's poor, but she sounds happy. I bet she really loves living here. To be blunt, this apartment complex is falling to pieces, though you could say the same about the rest of the ward. It's strange how if this building was anywhere else, it would be a creepy ruin, but here it's a nice home that's one with nature. Do you normally take a bath with Miss Kaneko and Miss Subako? Yeah, it would be a waste to let the water go cold. If we get in together, it reduces the water surface area to volume ratio. He's talking about how tea in a cup cools much faster than in a teapot, since there's less water in contact with the air. The additional body heat probably helps too. It's an effective way to lower the electricity bill. How can she fit with Kaneko? Do not ask. This also saves on water. There's nothing but benefits, huh? It lowers the water bill too. I've never seen someone share money-saving tips with such an angelic smile before. Mary is washing her hair next to us, but I can't see her face because of the shampoo, and her hands seem to have stopped. Sanae did a big stretch, releasing all the fatigue built up inside her. It made the tub feel even more cramped. Then there was quiet. I could hear the night insects singing. That's owls, by the way. You know? No, wait, there are insects in the background too. I really do want to become an astronaut. So you said. But in space, there won't be anyone but me. No Miss Kaneko, no Miss Suvako, no friends from school. There won't be anyone. They won't be able to visit me either, no matter what happens up there, be it good or bad. I'm sure I'll feel lonely. Do you want to talk Renko in going with you to space? Sanae started crying, but she didn't look pitiful. She wasn't bawling her eyes out or anything. Her tears were like the condensation of the bathroom window or the evening dew on leaves. Pulled by gravity with her uniform acceleration, water droplets rolled off her smiling cheeks to fall freely into the water below. This also saved on the water bill. I was getting ready to ask her a question. I had already worked out a good way to broach the subject. But that was no longer necessary. I was going to ask whether she was happy at school, but her tears answered that for me. Sanae used her wealth of knowledge and incredible deduction skills to predict her future. She can become an astronaut, and then she can help a more diverse range of people for a longer time. She doesn't want to do this for recognition or praise. She merely wishes to dedicate herself to more people. That ardent wish is her driving force. It is what set her down this path. She has worked tirelessly to complete the arduous steps necessary to become an astronaut. And she has already planned out how she will complete the next steps in the future. That's why she can perfectly envision her emotional state in that future. She'll be far from Earth, in a dark corner of space. She'll be all alone, giving every day, every second of her future for the good of humankind. That sounds more like a star than a human. And when Sanae envisioned herself as a star, she shed tears. Tears of loneliness. This means that she doesn't want to be alone. She wants to live together with everyone. And if that's truly how she will feel in the future, she must have had a happy past. Or in other words, Sanae is happy with her life in the present. I'm not sure if I should mention this to her. Now that I've worked all this out, I get the feeling that would be insensitive. But if you want to be absolutely sure, it's always better to double check with the person involved. Then you must be happy now, right, Sanae? Yeah. Yeah. M's Miracle Report E. Okay, so they are just using different numbering. Are we gonna have Mary watching the other two bathe? No, we are in a different scene altogether. Mary, slow down. It's dangerous. Be careful, princess. Stop sleep talking, Renko. This is so embarrassing. Are you awake, Mary? What? Shh, don't shout. You'll wake Renko up. Sorry. The three of us are sleeping on separate futons next to each other in the living room. They offered to let us stay the night. Miss Kaneko and Miss Suwako graciously lent us their futons and are sleeping in sleeping bags in another room. It was Miss Sanae who suggested that we sleep side by side with her in the middle. She is a separation between you two. She's getting between you two in every way she can. I sense some kind of pressure. It's like a change in the wind. Miss Sanae is trying to chat with me. She rolled over and is looking right at me. At least, I think she is. I can only see her out of the corner of my eye. I wasn't rude to her today, was I? I probably shouldn't have been so standoffish, but honestly, I still haven't made up my mind about her. Miss Mary? You might think I'm a bad person if I say this, but... No, in fact, I'm sure you'll think I'm a bad person. And you'd be right. But I'm going to say it anyway. I can't not say it. Huh? Saying it this way makes me a bad person. If I wasn't bad, I'd say it differently. A good person would say this without any hesitation at all. You're lucky, Miss Mary. You've got Renko with you. Oh. So that's what she was leading up to. I don't get it. I'm jealous of you, Miss Mary. But don't you have Miss Kaneko and Miss Suwako? And I'm sure you've got friends at school too. Yeah, you're right. But I don't have Renko. And I want Renko. Give me Renko. And so starts Sanae's Yandere arc. And you do. I don't quite understand what she's getting at. As she herself said, it would be easy to presume the worst. She could simply be saying that she wants Renko and that she wants to take her from me. Leaving aside the fact that Renko is not a thing someone can own. Does Miss Sanae want Renko to be her Renko? Like how Renko is to me? I don't know why she'd want that. I'm not even sure that's what she wants. Is she saying that she wants a friend who is more her equal, unlike Miss Kaneko and Miss Suwako? Yeah, thinking about it now, while they obviously have a really close relationship, they act more like her parents than friends. Everyone gets a Renko. You get a Renko. You get a Renko. As someone who studies relative psychology, I'd say that in most cases, family is no substitute for friends. So, is that what Miss Sanae meant? But she also has lots of friends at school. Or were those girls not really her friends? Does she not consider them her equals? Does she actually look down on them? Miss Sanae, what do you mean? Honestly, I debated how I should respond. At first, I thought about saying, I still don't really know you that well. But she already knows that. That's why she said that the way she did. She knew that I might misinterpret her words. She knew I'd think them over to try not to misinterpret them. She knew I'd think of possible reasons for why she said that. She knew I'd never be fully convinced of any one reason, and that I'd have to ask her what she meant. She knew that we'd never understand each other unless we talked some more, and that this might not work. That's because Miss Sanae is perfectly ordinary. You know, I want to be an astronaut, right? Yes, you said that at dinner and in the bath. It's a good dream. The discussion at dinner was a bit different from the one in the bath. It seems Renko didn't write about it, so I will. We talked about the old moon rockets, namely the Saturn V rockets. Perhaps it would be better if I said we talked about the Apollo program, since that name is more well known. There's so much to unpack about that program. Miss Kaneko and Miss Suwako got really into the conversation too. The discussion got particularly lively when we got to the Apollo spacecrafts. I think it was about then when I lost track of what the words Saturn and Apollo actually refer to. I got even more confused with the different modules, so if you want to know more, you should refer to a proper textbook. But there was one thing that was really easy to understand, or should I say, envision. We talked about the very end of the Apollo program, when the 3 astronauts re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. The command module, the round tip of the rocket, returned to Earth and splashed down in the ocean. The module was of course equipped with a parachute, but apparently its shape also made it a lifting body. It was designed that way so it could slow its descent. Its center of gravity was also such that it wouldn't flip over. They thought of all this so the astronauts could get back to Earth as safely as possible. Miss Kaneko and Miss Suwako were the ones who brought this up. You could really feel the love they have for Miss Sanae. They also told us a bit more about themselves. Miss Kaneko is a student and entrepreneur who's struggling to build a successful software company. This is so she can create the control system for Miss Sanae's rocket. And Miss Suwako is like an explorer who hunts for new materials for Miss Sanae's rocket. They plan to launch their own privately owned rocket together, although they still need more research and funding. Miss Sanae isn't an astronaut yet either. They've got a long road ahead of them. But that's why they are making preparations. They are waiting and will continue to wait until Miss Sanae's dream comes true. At least, that's the impression I got as we talked over dinner. I know, but Becoming an astronaut isn't really my dream. I'm assuming it's what you feel like you should become, but not what you want to become. What? Did I mishear her? Did she really say that? What I really want is to fly. To fly like the wind, like a bird. I want to fly all on my own. It's not that unusual for people to wish they could fly. It's one of the driving forces behind human innovation. Without it, there wouldn't be any gliders, jet engines, moon rockets, or orbital stations. I said this last time about Sanae's Touhou 19 sprite having wings. I wonder if this in part inspired this. Aside from the fact that she is a wind priestess and always was related to that a little bit. But that's not what Miss Sanae is talking about. Her wish to fly is different. I see. I think I finally get you, Miss Sanae. I'm not a good person either, so even if you deny it, I've already convinced myself that I understand you. And I wanted to say that. I couldn't stop myself because I am a bad person. You are thankful for all that you have. You don't have any complaints and you don't feel like you deserve anything more. So you don't want for anything. You are always satisfied with what you currently have and you never get greedy. You don't run or stop. You simply walk the path set out before you at the same speed that time naturally flows. You've got no reason to be angry or worried. You'd help anyone for free and you would never expect a reward. You don't feel hurt when someone is mean to you and you can convince anyone of the error of their ways. Don't ask me how, but I bet you could even bring the dead back to life if you put your mind to it. And you could do that without even sacrificing your own life. If Miss Sanae disappeared, everyone else would have to live in a world where she doesn't exist. That means there'd be people that Miss Sanae could no longer help. Then again, there might be people she can only help by sacrificing herself. To solve this, you'd have to devote all that you are to helping other people while not sacrificing anything. You'd also have to be immortal. I finally understand why you are so perfect. I get you now. You are perfect, but you are absolutely certain that everything you accomplish isn't due to your own skills, talents, or effort. I was going to say that, but I stopped myself. I can't say that to her. It would be arrogant to believe my words could reach through to her. And even if they could, I definitely shouldn't be the one to say them. I'm proud that I understand her now, but you shouldn't use other people as tools to satisfy your own ego. You learn new things by speaking to people, but observing something can also distort what you observe. According to the teachings of relative psychology, there is no such thing as a unique person. Mental states are relative. Others' quirks are your quirks. An individual's eccentricities are the group's eccentricities. There's no way that Miss Sanae could be the only exception. She is irrefutably perfect, but she doesn't believe that any of this perfection belongs to her. There's a name for this illness in quotation mark. I'm trying to remember it while reading. That's because she is perfectly humble. She thinks everything she has was given to her and that she is merely borrowing it. I think it's imposter effect or something like that. Everything was given to her by her friends, her family, heaven, earth, humans, and gods. So she feels forever grateful and has dedicated herself to paying everyone back. Helping people is all she thinks about. I'm a human being, so now that I know this, I cannot help but want to admire her. Feelings of envy or jealousy are like candles held before the wind of her perfection. Wait, am I using that idiom correctly? Anyway, I honestly want to praise her, but I fear doing so would do nothing but satiate my own ego. Seeing someone go so far beyond the normal limits of altruism is disconcerting. I'd even call it grotesque. Miss Mary, what's wrong? Oh, I walked a lot today, so I'm pretty tired. I wanted to ask her more questions, mainly about the angel game. I wanted to ask if the answers she got were really miracles, and if they were caused by an ability she has. Miss Sunny is perfect, so she doesn't lie. I'm sure she'd tell me the truth. So I wanted to ask her, but I can't. I don't think everyone with an ability is the same, but it's awkward to talk to other people about abilities that are above a certain power level. Some people feel embarrassed or ashamed, and for others, having other people know stresses them out. That's how it is. And that's not even considering problems of discrimination or prejudice, so I can't ask her about it. I'm not worthy. Just know that I understand you. It's time to fight! So I'm assuming we are going back to Li Huan. And I'll need to choose some people to fight with. Thankfully, they are all neatly lined up. It's time for the Scarlet, Scarlet, and Scarlet, and Scarlet, and Scarlet. And more Scarlet. And a little bit of Cherry, but also Scarlet. And maybe even some Scarlet. Although, if it goes like last time, then we won't even reach the second row anyways. Actually, if we are doing it like this, then this makes more sense. Yeah, I don't think we still know what CR plus LF means. Maybe we'll find out. Carriage return plus line feet. Oh, I wasn't sure if you were joking or if that was your actual... reading on it. Anyway, yes, we are loading the battle against eyeballs. Dream to be an entrepreneur. Dream to be an astronaut. Dream for an easy life. Suvako, you're not the same as the others. Those are the 2 bytes that are written in the text file when a new line is added. Interesting. Also, this is 1 wave, so maybe we should do our solo attacks? That makes sense, I think. Assuming everyone has a solo attack. Yoisha! Anyone weak to wood? Not that it matters too much. Nether Sign, late and early endless evening cherry blossom. A spell card of Yu Yu Kusai Yoji from the world shrouded in scarlet mist. She displays the cherry blossoms that bloom in the netherworld. Presumably this spell card will later become Nether Sign, endless evening cherry blossom. It is said that the cherry blossoms in the netherworld are actually phantoms. The mist that seeped into the netherworld from the land of the living was magical, so it probably affected the phantoms somehow. Is Yuriko aware of this? Obake, obake, obake! Anyone weak to fire? Yes. Human God Sword, ultimate and conventional truths. This attack isn't about being two-faced or disingenuous, but about the Buddhist doctrine of two truths. A difference of perspectives separates humans from gods and Buddha. This creates a duality of truth, where humans can only understand an incomplete conventional truth formed through their own observations of the world, not the ultimate truth, which is only understood by enlightened beings. This concept can also be applied to people of different stations, who have inherited different perceptions, such as an employer and an employee. Illusion Sign, Indiscriminate, a spell card of Sakuya Sayoi from the world with a never-ending winter. She throws extremely large knives all around her. It feels especially bad to be on the receiving end of an attack that's indiscriminate. As a maid, Sakuya is really good at taking out the trash. This is perhaps one of the reasons why Remilia, her vampire mistress, values her services so highly. Let us take out the trash.
そもそも亡骸は美しくない。丁寧に仕事をするにも限界があるのよ。ああ、面倒だわ。全部まとめて片付けてやる。ゲンフ、インディスクリミネート。
Cleaning, getting somewhere.
剣の道で悟りに至る。私はまだまだだけど。迷いがあるからお化けが怖いのかも。妊娠権親族2歳。
Oh, it's this attack. A favorite to dodge.
見られた季節の中でもし今桜を咲かせたならそれは遅咲きかしら。 それとも早咲きかしら。よう遅咲きにして早咲きの常世桜。
Yeah, that's definitely 10 desires.
倒せた。なんだ、お化けじゃなかったんですね。
Tea break! The third one. Renko and Mary fell asleep. I'll hear the rest of their reports in the morning, but I should try to order my thoughts before then. I must find the truth behind the lost barriers to regain my past. The Secret Sealing Club also wants the truth, and since I can't leave here, they investigated the last ward by themselves. Oh, right. I still haven't written in this journal about why I can't leave. I might as well do that now. This is my research facility, and from the looks of it, there is a good chance that it was an actual laboratory in the past. I say that because I've only ever seen it like this. This is how it's always been to me. I may have mentioned this somewhere else, but my first memories are of this place. I don't have any memories from my childhood. My memories start from when I was 12 years old. I wonder if this Li Huan is the same Li Huan from the main story, just after all that. And she just got dumped back here into this world, without any memories of anything that happened in Gensokyo. My age was determined by a state-of-the-art medical test that examined DNA samples from different parts of my body. We live in an age of luxury, so I'm sure it's possible for 12-year-olds to survive on their own. But I had someone who took care of me. I guess you could call her my foster parent. I can't reveal their name due to reasons I won't get into here, so I'll refer to her as my benefactor. She got angry when I tried to call her my boss. I really owe her. She took me in and later gave me this research facility. She was researching some... Okay. She was researching something here while compiling all these documents just like I do now. Let me just check something real quick. Hide screen. No, I still have 50% electricity, so it shouldn't be a problem. I was worried this message came up because I was running low, but no, I have more than when I started. I should mention that she didn't always stay cooped up inside. She'd sometimes take time off and go shopping. I sometimes go out shopping too, but only rarely since I can get most things delivered. That said, there are a few reasons why I can't stray far from this place. One of them is the promise I made to my benefactor, but there were two other reasons before that. First, I will have to prevent these books from getting stolen or destroyed, though all I can really do is keep an eye on them. But the main reason is that I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm like an astronomer staring at the sky, waiting for a rare celestial event. I can't miss what will happen in this facility. I'm waiting for a hole A gap in a barrier. I don't know when one will appear, and I don't know how long it will last. My benefactor told me that this facility drifted here through one such gap. Explaining all that will take a while, and it's related to what my benefactor was researching, so I'll save it for another time. Anyway, my benefactor mostly stayed in this research facility, but she's no longer here. She disappeared at the same time as the lost barriers. It's been said that the barriers disappeared simultaneously all over the world, but that's not true. There was some time lag. My benefactor said she was going to check the barrier, since it might still be there. And that was the last time I saw her. That barrier might still exist somewhere. Like, when barriers decay, they might have really short half-lives. So while half of the barrier instantly disappeared, an infinite small fraction will always remain. I can't prove that yet, but it gives me hope that my benefactor still exists somewhere on the other side of the barrier. This theory would also explain the recorded time lag between each barrier disappearing. It might also help explain why abilities have deteriorated so slowly, even though they are supposed to come from barriers. If this facility really appeared from a gap in a barrier, then it might eventually disappear too. My benefactor tasked me with copying all the information here, but she didn't want me to just copy it word for word. I have to make it my own by rewriting it in my own words. It's an odd task, but I have to do it exactly as she said. That's what I promised. So you have to write a paper on all these books, is what you are saying, essentially. That was her final request, unless I find her again, of course. In order to keep this promise, I need the Secret Sealing Club's help with investigating the lost barriers. But what if the Secret Sealing Club really does expose barriers? I'm sure they try to keep something like that a secret, so I can't ask them directly. What should I do if that is why they formed the Secret Sealing Club in the first place? This is just my assumption based on what I know, but I think they can safely expose barriers. That means they must have unique abilities and experience. If they failed after 1 or 2 tries, they would have given up. They would never seek the truth behind the lost barriers. But what if their activities were what caused all the barriers to disappear? Was ensuring the survival of their club an excuse? Are they trying to make the barriers return because it was their fault? That seems like a reasonable assumption to make, considering they have the means to make barriers disappear. They have the means, but they don't have a motive. I'm guessing they probably can't use their skills with exposing barriers to bring them back. If they could, they would have done that already. There'd be no reason for them to search for the truth. So does that mean they are investigating the lost barriers in the hope of finding barriers that still exist? If there is still a barrier out there, then the truth can be revealed using a process similar to radiocarbon dating. The simplest explanation would be that they just want their lives to return to how they were before. I can't ask them about their barrier exposing activities, because that would disrupt their lives even more. They don't remember. But the Secret Sealing Club continues to have adventures in other worlds. and I can see other worlds when I sleep in the form of dreams and illusions. It was only recently that these two things coincided, but I've been seeing these dreams for a while now. They started when the barriers disappeared. Can Renko and Mary cross to the other side of a barrier, even though the barriers have disappeared? How can they do that? You can't open a hole in a barrier that isn't there. You can't pass through it and you can't expose it. Perhaps the barriers exist as normal, but they hid them somehow. But that wouldn't explain their lost memories. Or maybe they're only pretending that they don't remember to keep their barrier exposing activities a secret. Are they doing this to make me think what I saw was just a dream? Could they really think that far ahead? No, that just doesn't make sense. They wouldn't keep coming back here if that was the case. Trying to keep up the facade while letting me witness their adventures would be too risky and needlessly stressful. Sure, they wouldn't have found a way to the last ward if they didn't keep coming here, but that's hindsight bias. I guess the books here are also an asset to their investigation, but they still haven't made any breakthrough discoveries. It wouldn't make sense if they are pretending. They truly don't remember their adventures after the barriers disappeared. So that means there are ways to go to the other side of barriers and return without opening gaps in them. But maybe it's limited. Like how only my consciousness can cross over, or like how Renko and Mary lose their memories. I can think of 3 possible explanations for this. First, could be another yet-to-be-discovered type of barrier that filters who or what can pass through them. Second, instead of using gaps in barriers, you might be able to pass over them, like the opposite of quantum tunneling. Third, the barrier didn't disappear but simply changed form. They can no longer be observed, but they are still there. I still don't know enough to deduce anything more than this. Now onto Sanae Kochia. If she does have an ability, we might be able to find traces of the barrier that influences her ability near her. That information would bring us one step closer to verifying these theories, or it could refute them all. Either way, it would bring us closer to the truth. However, this is contingent on her having an ability. I'm still not convinced she does. In the past, she could answer any question correctly, and now she can solve any problem. These things are too improbable, too mysterious to be coincidences. I can only think that they are miracles. It doesn't matter how virtuous, smart, or skilled someone is. No one can cause a miracle to occur at will, unless they have an ability. Does this mean that Sanae Kochia is truly an angel of miracles? Does it now? Code L ? Episode 5. Are the miracles caused by an ability? Or maybe even a god? But then came rocket engines that can run without fuel. It was now possible to go beyond the solar system. M's Miracle Girl Report F. Press F to cause a miracle. I see you changed your dress, Renko. Oh, Renko, good morning. Why don't you go wash your face? Renko, you there? Right. I'll go do that. That was strange. What's up with her? Oh, Miss Sanae must have left already. Her bag and uniform are gone. I wonder if Renko was actually sleeping last night while you and Sanae were talking. I didn't realize schools under the old system started this early in the morning. No, that can't be right. We met her much later yesterday. And she said she had to run to make it to school on time. If she left just now, she could walk to school and back before the bell rings. Is she going to stop by somewhere on the way? Thinking about it now, she came home pretty late last night, and everyone acted like it was a regular occurrence. Does she hold consultations in the morning and after school? It makes her sound like a popular fortune teller. Where's Sanae? Has she already left? Her shoes aren't here. Oh no, her bag and uniform are gone too. Hasn't she gone to school? I thought we wouldn't have to worry today, 'cause Renko and Mary are here. Why would you do this, Sanae? Huh? What's going on? Mary, let's go look for her. I'm pretty sure Sanae is in danger. What? I didn't notice. I should have, but I didn't. Full of regret, Renko spat those words out as we ran out of the apartment. Renko went with Miss Kaneko and I went with Miss Suwako. We split up to look for Miss Sanae, but neither of us had any idea where she might be. Her two roommates, the closest people to her, didn't know either. There's no way they could. Because no one has ever seen Miss Sanae get hurt. My, how ominous. I was expecting them to say, nobody has ever seen Miss Sanae ever again. But no. The hurt part is also a mystery yet to be solved. It's time to become a horror game again. We can't find her. We don't know where she is. We are running to every high place in town to see if we can catch a glimpse of her. Miss Kaneko is running with me, but she's so worried that it feels like she might break down into tears at any moment. But that hasn't stopped her from calling out Sanae's name, and I'm adding my voice to hers. It's still early in the morning. We don't care, especially since not many people live in this rundown city anyway. But there's no use just running around blindly. My reasoning is correct. Sanae is in grave danger right now. And there's not much time. I made a mistake. I made a false presumption. Seances were banned at school, so I had assumed that the Angel game was only popular with little kids. I thought everyone would naturally grow out of it when they graduated from elementary school and entered middle school. The alternative never occurred to me. Sanae Kochia has never stopped playing the angel game. She is still the angel. Middle schoolers are as intelligent as adults, so they won't divulge a secret just because you ask them some questions. She solves problems. They purposely spoke about the angel in that way, to avoid suspicion from outsiders. We never got honest answers to our questions cause they had already taken precautions. They are all in it together. Adults have already persecuted them multiple times for playing their angel game. But each persecution only made them more resolute in their beliefs. Punishments were like trials from a god. Their faith went underground, and they hid the door to their church. Their seances became consultations. Why is that? Why would they go to such lengths? Is it because miracles actually happened? No. It's because they are a community. And just like any other community, they gather together, share things, and support each other. But communities built by kids are frail. It's not fair, but they can easily collapse or change by adults making decisions for them, or due to the passage of time. They know this, that's why they dream of this moment lasting forever. They know they'll eventually lose their community, so they want to treasure it while it lasts. They are all of the same mind. That's why they need a symbol, something they could all gather around. They placed Sanae Kochia on a pedestal. So what did they do then? Did they force Sanae to create mysterious miracles for them? No, of course not. It wasn't Sanae who performed the miracles. It was her many friends. One of the rules of the angel game is that it's played with 5 people, meaning there's always Sanae and 4 others. And all 5 people place a finger on the coin. They are middle schoolers now, so they probably use their pinkies. If 4 of the 5 work together, they can freely move the coin. You just have to do it when it's Sanae's turn. If 3 out of the 5 are working together, they can manipulate the coin to show a miracle for one other person. That was probably how they used Kaneko to spread the rumors about Sanae and the angel game when we were little. And I am almost certain that they faked the questions about her crush by guessing that she doesn't have a crush on anyone. It's common not to have a crush, and even if you do, you might not correct someone if they say you don't. No, they probably already figured out that Kaneko didn't have a crush before they invited her to join their game. That's why they decided to use her in the first place. That's the simplest method. If it turned out that Kaneko did have a crush, they would have just chosen someone else. But why did Sanae's friend keep doing this? Surely someone would object to tricking a young girl again and again just to build a community. That's not okay. The community must have been a side effect. That's all it ever was. No one ever did this purely for the sake of building a community. Every single one of Sanae's friends loves her from the bottom of their heart. To them, Sanae is all that is good, true, wise, kind, exceptional, just, beautiful and lovely. She is virtue, righteousness, gratitude, knowledge and faith. To her friends, Sanae Kochia really is an angel. It probably all started on a whim. Like, maybe a young Sanae asked the angel what was for dinner. Then her friends, who were just as young, thought she was cute, so not thinking too much about it, they moved the coin. Hamburgers. Seeing Sanae's face light up with joy made them happy, but they soon realized their mistake. Sanae would be really disappointed if this prediction didn't come true. Their careless act will make their beloved Sanae cry. That's not good! They were young, but they knew how to spell. They had to work together to somehow make that prediction come true. They had to make it so Sanae ate hamburgers for dinner. They probably ran ahead of Sanae to plead with her parents. So when Sanae got home, she was really happy, but her smile was too bright. That's why it's still happening now. When Sanae realized the miracles kept happening, she probably changed her questions so they'd help someone else. That's the kind of person she is. That must have made it easier for her friends to fake them, though I doubt they ever thought of it that way. Since to them, Sanae really is an angel. Sanae is happy when she gets to help someone, and everyone's happy when Sanae is happy. So Sanae would always succeed when she tried to help someone. Always. Every time. She was made to succeed with the power of miracles. Others' quirks are your quirks. An individual's eccentricities are the group's eccentricities. That's what Mary wrote in her report last night. She really hit the nail on the head. The miracles were powered by her friend's love for Sanae. Sanae did make and will continue to make any miracle come true, because these miracles help other people. Everyone knows that Sanae will only ever pray to an angel for a miracle if that miracle helps someone else. So if everyone works together and gives it their all, they can make it seem like Sanae caused these miracles to happen. But Sanae must have realized that there are some miracles that never happen. There are some miracles that Sanae cannot cause to happen. Miracles that no one lets her attempt. This is an extension of the hamburger scenario. Sanae does have a wish of her own. She alone wishes that these miracles would happen. I saw her skin in the bath. There wasn't a single blemish. She didn't have any band-aids on her. When I noticed that, I was relieved, thinking that she doesn't get hurt all the time anymore. But I was wrong. The reason why I couldn't see any wounds or band-aids was the same reason why you can't see the new moon. Were they all on her back then? It was the moment before the cycle started anew. Oh, okay. Surely you would have seen the back if she went out of the bath, yeah. The moment right before she got hurt again. Many sounds today. The wounds aren't caused by someone else, because everyone loves her. They are not the result of an accident, because Sanae is perfect. She doesn't make careless mistakes. So only one possibility remains. She hurts herself. At first, the injuries appeared on her head and face, but as she got older, she moved to her knees. This can be explained by how your center of gravity shifts as you grow older. Children have bigger heads in proportion to the rest of their bodies. That's one of the reasons why they fall over so much. But as you get older, you get taller. and the muscles and bones in your limbs and torso get bigger, making it easier to balance. So how does Sanae get injured? Good guess on the self-hurting. Does she run and trip over? Does she fall down the stairs? No. That would be meaningless. Sanae is perfect, so if she's going to hurt herself, there must be a purpose behind it. It must be necessary. And it must be efficient. Because Sanae Kochia will become an astronaut. Tea break! Drink break. It's a new day, and Renko and Mary are wearing new clothes. But that's not important right now, we just wanted to show off our sprites. Does Sanae Kochia not have an ability? That seems to be what the reports imply. Here, I made some tea. Thanks, Li Huan. The silence is heavy. They are both exhausted from presenting their reports practically non-stop since yesterday. I'm truly thankful. They're doing this for me, so I have to see this through to the end. I have to know what becomes of Sanae Kochia and her quote-unquote miracles. Sanae doesn't have an ability. All the miracles were fantasy fabricated by her friends. The investigation was a failure. But that's fine. I can't blame the Secret Sealing Club for trying to help me. As long as they are still upright, we can keep investigating until we succeed. The fact that they failed isn't an issue, I don't mind at all. And I'm sure they both know that. They're observant, so they could easily figure that out. This means that the reason they are so sad isn't because they are tired or because they failed the investigation. What happened to Sanae Kochia? Sanae. Miss Sanae. Seeing them like this makes me want to cry with them. I want to ask why they are sad so we can try to process it together. I want to share what they are going through. They are my friends, so I want to do whatever I can to alleviate their pain. I desperately want that. But without thinking, I force those feelings down. Thoughts determine the outcome. Observations will become a reality. I can't let them say why they are sad, and I cannot ask them about it. We can't even think about it. I can't skip ahead and let my imagination predict how Sanae's story will end. I bit down hard on my lip, drawing blood. I can't sit here doing nothing. My brain keeps trying to think on its own. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot to ask, but... We need to hurry and finish this story. Please tell me the rest. Okay. But first... No, actually. I wanted to say, but first we fight. That this is someone's last miracle report. And there will be a fight. There might be spoilers here. I should have switched out the one in the middle. Because I'm worried she's just gonna kill everybody. But it's fine. The Angel game, inspired by spiritualism, was so popular among young girls for so long that it became a social problem. It had so many variants that studies were done to see how the names and rules differed from region to region. But they were all the same in how kids who played these games acted secretly and were bound together by rules. The seances would usually be held during the night at school. This is the main reason why parents object to them. The kids had to hide the evidence in secret. The pieces of paper with weird rows of letters were enough to expose them. This was mostly done by cutting up and throwing the paper away, with some versions specifying the number of cuts. But apparently the rules of the Angel game played at Ranko and Miss Sanae's school were a little bit different. This slight difference became an ironclad rule, an unbreakable law that would continue to dictate Miss Sanae's actions. It was a smell that tipped me off. I smelled it last night while taking a bath. Tiny particles invisible to the naked eye had stuck to Miss Sanae's hair and clothes. But when she went to take a bath, they scattered into the air and tickled my nose. The smell felt so out of place. It wasn't the smell you'd usually expect from a student who just came home from school. It was the smell of smoke. The smoke generated when cellulose combusts. It was the smell you get when you burn paper. This can be explained by what happened yesterday morning. I think Miss Sanae meant to burn the papers she and her friends used for the Angel game. The rule for hiding the evidence in their version of the game is that the paper must be burned and thrown into a river. Miss Sanae tried to follow that rule at her usual spot, but she had to change her plans to prevent outsiders from witnessing her. That's the rule. She did all this to ensure the Angel's miracles wouldn't lose their power, and to avoid persecution from the adults. Miss Sanae is meant to be perfect, but from an adult's perspective she has continued to break the rules. That doesn't concern her though. All she cares about is the paradise built by the girls her age. She is their guardian angel who follows their laws, and the only way to do this is to dispose of their secret pieces of paper. The angel ritual is sacrosanct. It must be completed. Renko and I are the infidels who got in her way. I'm guessing Miss Sanae had to burn a lot of paper. A new piece of paper has to be used and disposed of for each seance. Judging from what the other students said about the consultations, they average around 5 seances per day. And they probably use standard A4 paper torn out of the notebooks they use at the school. The more often she does this, the higher the risk of getting spotted. But if she burns too many at once, the smoke will give her away. Taking this into consideration, she probably burns around 35 pieces of paper at once. And she does this once every 7 days. That is her usual cycle unless she has to get rid of the evidence in a hurry. Try to imagine a teenage girl who wanted to burn 35 pieces of A4 paper. On her way down to the river in the morning, she noticed Renko and I. There's no way she could burn them then. So what if she tried to burn them at night? She could finish the afternoon seances early, go to the river and light a page. If she did that, she'd immediately realize that fire is much more noticeable at night. Someone might come to investigate. She had to find a place out of sight, but she also had to stay next to the river, so she started walking upstream. This wouldn't work. The mountain is upstream, and even if lighting fires there isn't prohibited, it is dangerous. After wandering around, she ran out of time. People were waiting for her at home. This curfew was an unwritten law. Miss Sanae is smart, so she knew she had no other option. No, Miss Sanae wants to follow all the laws that bind her. Thus, Miss Sanae is at the river now. She went there to follow her laws and burn 35 pieces of paper. Sanae! Sanae! It's faint, but I can smell something. Miss Suwako, Miss Sanae is nearby. Mary! Huh? I'm glad you're here. That means you must have come to the same conclusion as me. She's not on the riverbank. What? Sanae? Sanae! This is bad. Sanae is older now. She grew up so incredibly fast. She only got scratches until now because she was small and light. It won't be the same this time. Feathers. I saw white feathers floating on the wind. They caught the updraft created by the flames and disappeared high up into the sky. Sanae Kochia is spreading her white wings. It was only for a brief moment, lasting less than a second, but that miracle had been firmly etched into my heart and mind. Her wings were pure white, holy and mysterious. There was only one word to describe her. She's an angel. Angel is falling down. Angel is falling down. I should have guessed. Of course she'd sing that song. But it sounds different when it's only sung by one person. It really sounds like a prayer. Angel is falling down. Falling down. Where are you zooming, game? Now then. This is your moment, Li Huan. Huh? We retirees know what was lost, but we cannot touch them. Those secret sealing club girls can touch what has been lost. They cannot know what they are. It's tough not being able to interfere. You said it. At this rate, Miss Sanae will. Yes, it's clear what will happen. Falling from that height can only end one way. There's nothing I can do. Are we gonna change the past? Oh? But I don't believe it will turn out like that. There's still a way to save her. Is that right? Be careful what you say, Li Huan. You must prove those words are true now you've said them. How can she be saved if she falls from that height? Or what? Can she stop falling after she has already started? And even if she is saved, do you really think her life can return to normal? It looks like that human wants to hurt herself. All her friends will hear about this. Won't the same thing just happen again? Taking all this into account, do you still think it's possible? Yes, there's still a chance. I want to let everyone there know that. Please help me, Miss Mima and Miss Shinky. You're asking us for help? That's a surprise. Would think that a foolish bug like you would be so audacious. Who are we remixing here? It's Shinky, right? This is what happens when lesser beings want more than they deserve. It's disgusting if we mistakenly summon a clown. Or is it reincarnation? I'm not sure now. I'm impressed. Renko? Mary? We can never cross paths with them, not because our paths are parallel, but because they twist to avoid each other. Only one thing connects us retirees with the secret sealing club. You. They transformed. Attire and appearance are types of barriers. So when bonds change, or are perceived to have changed, so do they. Your interference has indirectly bonded, or has appeared to have bonded them with us. But now that it has come to this, you will have to pay the price, same as us. You chose this, so you have to face the consequences. My head! It feels like it's splitting apart. Be strong, Li Huan. This is beyond you. You'll never be able to return if you lose consciousness now. It's impossible. You'll never become anything. Or are perceived to have changed? Or has appeared to have bonded? It's no good. Fantasy is blending with reality. Li Huan. Copy it all. Preserve it. Make it your own. You must do all these things to find what was lost. This will truly be the end if I don't do this. Everything is riding on me, isn't it? I'll do it. I'll get it done. With everything I've got. And with a song I very much recognize. That's the spirit. Good. Alright then. Off you go! This is Izanagi object. I'm glad that someone is using it right. Listen closely, Li Huan. There's no time to explain in detail, so just accept what I'm about to say as fact. Shinki and I manifested this state by using the power of those who've been found. This is what lies beyond the conclusion, attained by the first being that was found. But the final destination for those who are lost is to remain lost. Currently, this is the only way to change that. Isn't that right, Shinki? Worshipped girl, wish for protection, wish for a blessing. Mima and Shinki have been added to Touhou LostWord in an interesting way. By being combined with Mary and Renko, who would also otherwise not be able to join the game as playable characters. And obviously they have spell cards. Phantasmal Eclipse Dust, a spell card of Mima from the Isolated World. This attack was recorded in M's report. I can sense a presence nearby, but I can't see anyone. Wait, Is that distant light coming from more of the weird spinning monsters I saw earlier? Or is it something else? I'm scared. But even if I ran, I wouldn't know which direction to go.
ベルカードなどこうすればよかろう。はっよし、わかった。
抑えて抑えて。
Makai records, a spell card of Shinki from the isolated world. This attack was recorded in R's report. Is this an Edward for a travel package? And this looks like a travel guide. I'll take some time, but I might be able to decipher what it says. This looks like a job for... She always seems to figure stuff out before me.
スペルカードってこうやるのでしょ。名前を言うのはよしなさい。 真の魔法も知らずに。さあ、よく見るがよい。これが魔法ぞ。魔界文書。弱すぎる。お前は弱すぎるよ。力があるなら見せてみよう。 不可能だろうがな。有限諸手人。いけ、助けろ。
Meanwhile, Marisa doing all the job. Oh no, dear!
どうでもよくなった。
Demon Star Fantasy. Those stars and that moon might not be real. It's like they are shooting bullets of light at each other. I don't want to get caught in the crossfire.
ベルカードなどこうすればよかろう。いいじゃないか。
抑えてまだ我慢よ。
Makai God Recital. It's like the whole night sky is covered with shooting stars. Maybe two people are firing bullets of light at each other, but I can't see anyone. They must be too far away or moving too fast. Whatever the case, they aren't humans. If I could get a good look at them, I might find some answers.
ベルカードってこうやるのでしょ。
私を力で満たす者は現れるだろうか。私はそのものを待っている。復讐はその過程に過ぎぬよ。魔性幻想。
Really, the most iconic thing a beamer can do.
幻想郷の神など所詮は800万分の1。巫女はその犬に過ぎぬ。対する私は唯一神であるぞ。
And the most iconic Shinki can do.
再び隠居しても問題なさそうね。こんな程度なら物の数に入らないもの。
Sanae, are you sad that we stopped you from jumping off a cliff? Bridge. Same difference. I can fly. I can fly! Don't move, Sanae. Why? Why is Sanae doing this? Miss Sanae is genuinely trying to fly. What? She believes she can fly with the angel's power. How can she think that? She's convinced herself that she can do it. It doesn't even occur to her that she might be mistaken. Sanae. I can fly. I won't fall. I'm an angel, so I can fly. Sanae. Humans. Humans can't fly. Sanae, humans can't fly on their own. So if you step off that bridge, gravity will pull you down and you will fall. That's how humans are. But that is also why we reach out for the sky and the stars. It's okay, Sanae. You don't need to fly on your own. We'll make you fly together. That's what we promised. We can't do it now, but someday, me and Kaneko will send you to space. Yeah. You're right. I don't need to rush, do I? I'm sure that one day in the future, we'll go to space together. Exactly. Everything's going to be okay. We're here for you. We'll always be together. There's no need to rush. Let's take it step by step. There's nothing wrong with going slow and steady. We don't need to grow up that fast. Miss Sanae smiled as she understood how much they loved her. I think that was the first true smile I saw from her. I'm sure some people would call it angelic, but to me it was the smile of an ordinary girl. Sanae loves to help people, but her own heartfelt prayers was sealed away and hidden beyond the normal limits of altruism. But it's not that she couldn't fulfill her own prayer because she always put other people first, or anything like that. Miss Sanae decided to fly because flying would help everyone. Her reasoning is as follows. She dreams of becoming an astronaut because that way she'll be able to help more people in the future. And she wants to do all that she can now to make this dream come true. So she decided to fly. Her flying will help people, and that is what makes her happy. Normally, you'd never think like this. It's a broken way of thinking. But it's more than that. She hasn't just taken a leap in logic. She's taken flight. Her mind has been flying from the very beginning. And then she fell. I couldn't understand what happened. Sanae slipped, and she started to fall. It was the complete opposite of a miracle, the opposite of flight. I tried to shout, and I saw Mary try to call out too. It all happened so suddenly. I noticed that Miss Suvako wasn't next to Mary and that Miss Kaneko was no longer by my side. I turned around by reflex, and then I saw them. Miss Suwako leaped with all her might. Miss Kaneko shouted something just before, so I think she directed her. Miss Suwako soared through the air, targeting where Sanae would fall. Sanae's legs must have caught something as she started to fall because her body turned in the air. She was falling head first. Having timed her leap correctly, Miss Suwako spread out her jacket. Her arms were waiting to catch Sanae, so in a remarkable feat of dexterity, she spread her jacket out with her feet, like a flying frog. There was more weight, but the extra surface area increased the air resistance, slowing them down. Then Miss Kaneko crashed into them, shifting their point of descent from the shallows to the middle of the river. And then... Are you okay, Sanae? Are you hurt? I'm fine. I don't hurt at all. You're crushing me. Thank goodness, she's okay. At the time, I thought it was a miracle. But it probably wasn't. They spent all their time researching and talking about the structure of rockets. So this was just the result of their fun everyday experiences together. Yeah, they recreated the damn Apollo landing thingy. It was always fated to end this way. Breaking down in tears. Miss Sanae is just an ordinary girl who sheds ordinary tears. Tea break? Addendums. I'm glad we got to finish presenting our reports to Li Huan. So, what did you think of our adventure this time, Mary? We didn't discover anything about the lost barriers, and Miss Sanae's miracles weren't the result of an ability. Yeah, maybe our expectations were too high. That was only our first foray after all. But meeting Sanae again was a big step forward. I'm sure she'll help us investigate the last ward in the future. Oh right, we should report our findings to Miss Aya. I also want to ask her some more questions. If only we could find someone with an ability as strong as ours. I'm sure that would really help our investigation. If I probably used my ability back then, I'm sure I could have found the lingering remnants of a barrier nearby. Yeah. Was there anything else we could have done better? Let me think. I think I should have talked more with Miss Sanae. I know she wanted to protect her angel community, but to think she tried to accomplish that by jumping off a bridge. It's too big of a leap in logic, and also a leap in physical sense. I don't mean to deny Miss Sanae's sincerity, but since I study relative psychology... You mean relative psychology can help explain her actions? Yeah. In relative psychology, objective and subjective perspectives are interchangeable. In fact, a subjective perspective... Whoa there, Miss Maribel. You're getting pretty heated. Oh, oops, sorry. I forgot we're in public. I reckon you're overthinking things. Why do you say that? Because you overlooked something very important. What do you mean, Renko? Are you saying you didn't write everything in your report? Don't blame me. You've already decided that we didn't find any abilities, right? So there's no point in me sharing it with you? Or what? Do you want me to tell you about it anyway? Wow, is that how you want to play this? Huh? I also didn't add something to my report, but I won't tell you about it if you are going to act like that. No way! This is an addendum to my report. It's possible that Sanae Kochia has a different ability, one that doesn't cause miracles to happen. Sanae didn't create any miracles, they were merely a wishful fantasy fabricated by a community. But that doesn't exclude Sanae from having a different ability. There's still the question as to why Sanae tried to fly. Why did she think she could fly? Her friends manipulated the answers to Sanae's questions in the angel game to always be correct. So if she asked, "Can I fly?" surely none of them would answer yes. This means that Sanae must have thought she could fly for a completely different reason, one unrelated to her friends. What would make her think that? The answer is simple. It's because she had flown before. Sanae's ability must have been something that she could use to fly. But that's Reimu's ability. Those memories of flight were ingrained deep in her soul. But for some reason her ability must have diminished. The lost barriers might have played a part, but generally all abilities get weaker or disappear as kids become adults. The speed and timing of this deterioration vary from person to person. Sanae's ability might have disappeared really quickly. And perhaps she couldn't accept this. Also, she could fly as a child, but trying it while she was getting older, she kept getting hurt. Most people are reluctant to reveal their abilities, and Sanae was no different. It was an incredible personal thing to her. She kept it to herself. She studied it, learned more about it, and worried about it all by herself. But she did occasionally open up to people. Renko, I can create miracles. Her hands were clasped together, one on top of the other, as if she was trying to keep water from spilling, or a tiny insect from escaping. Curious, I bent down and peeked inside. That's when I saw it. A tiny whirlwind dancing on the palm of her hand. If she could control the wind, she might be able to fly. But that ability has already disappeared, or deteriorated to a point where it can't even break her fall. Then again, it's not much of a loss. There's no air in space, so it's not like she could manipulate wind up there anyway. Maribel also has her addendum, yes. This is an addendum to my report. It details my conversation with Sanae just before we left the last ward. I still don't fully understand why all that happened. Maybe Renko could explain it to me? Yeah, maybe she could, if she was here. Well, whatever, I'll ask her later. You're leaving soon, aren't you? Wait, where's Renko? She said she saw something interesting and ran off somewhere. Even though our train will be here soon. She never changes. You're just like I imagined you, Mary. What? But we only met yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, that's right. I never imagined I'd actually get to meet you, but I'm glad I did. I only knew you by name. She knew my name? Does that mean she knew about me before we met? How is that possible? When I asked her about it, her reply was incredibly simple. She learned my name from the angel when she was little. The seance that Renko participated in. Now, this leads to 3 more questions. 1. How did the angel game give her the correct answer? Because Renko was the strongest finger on the coin. Can Sanae Kochiya really cause miracles to happen? No. What question concerning Renko would give my name as the correct answer? Who do you have a crush on? Can any of you reading this report solve this mystery? I can't. I also have another question. It's a little different from the others, so I decided to group it separately. The subway led to a mysterious city where we met a reporter and an old friend whose issues got resolved. Wouldn't you call that a miracle? Hahaha. You can now choose a higher difficulty. You can also choose other things to do. So I definitely knew about Mimo, Mary and Renko Shinki, because the game obviously has them already in gacha and they were highly advertised because the LostWord team definitely knew that we were waiting for playable PC-98 characters. I'm not gonna gacha for them today, but I'm gonna soon, obviously. But we did not see all of their spell cards yet, and there is a trial quest for both Renko Uzami and Maribel Han. So let's play those. Also Bad Apple. Investigating a Makai god. And also we still have some spell cards of these 3 to show off. So why shouldn't we? Makai god is Mima, yes. If you ask Mima, she will say she is the Makai god. Now what are we fighting against? I should have expected as much. Now what music is this? Oh, it's probably... Shinki's theme, right? Yeah, it is Shinki's theme. Okay. The creator, the inhabitants of Makai were created using the god's power. The theory of evolution suddenly doesn't look so bulletproof. I usually don't read these, but I'm excited. Silent observation. All's right with the world. Is that why the god doesn't intervene? Makai Genesis. The god created an entire world, so does that mean she can instigate a Big Bang? We have question marks, and Mima, and they all have 3 life bars, so... Let's be serious as we fight this. This does barely any damage. Why? What kind of debuffs did you give me? That's positive things. Slash bullets down, moon damage down. You did something to me, Miss Mima. Anyways, let's start with our all attacks. Partially flowering Sayo Ayakashi. She simulates a resurrection in this attack. Presumably this spell card will later become Resurrection Butterfly 80% reflowering. In most worlds, Yuyuko would have already started an incident of her own to try and lift the seal on the Sayo Ayakashi. Due to the nature of her wish, it cannot possibly come true, but she doesn't seem to know why. Ah, you are not debuffed. So you can do your stuff again. But you are debuffed. I guess they really want us to use Shinki. Are you also always... Mima might just be strong. Hungry King Sword, Red Yama's Retribution. He attacks with the Red Yama's Wrath after the Scarlet Mist covered Gensokyo and seeped into the Netherworld. Continued to expand all the way to Hell. While the Yama's face is usually depicted as angry and red, this has surely made it even redder. The Yama couldn't possibly let this slide.
酒ども道に大量あやかし
Okay, yeah. This one is not from Ten Desires at all. Also, despite all those attacks, we did not break one of Beamer's life bar. Pale Pink Cherry Blossom Blizzard Hell. What a beautiful name. This is the attack that will presumably blossom into her overdrive. The color of a plant's flower is determined by the type of temperament absorbed through its roots. The Netherworld's cherry blossoms will have turned red if the Scarlet Mist was pure scarlet temperament. However, when spring came around, Yuyuko found that the flowers were fainter pink than usual. Even though Yukari said the mist was created by a vampire with scarlet in her name, this discrepancy led Yuyuko to question whether this incident was truly proceeding as Yukari planned.
私もお化けみたいなものだけどね。手心スペルカードってこうやるのでしょ。こうなったら全部切るしか。今使うべきスペルカードではない気もするけれど、薄桜色の霊気の波紋を解く走らせるとしましょう。薄桜に桜吹雪至極。
Yeah, that's very much her overdrive. Pretty! Snow and cherry petals.
幻想郷の神など所詮は800万分の1。巫女はその犬に過ぎぬ。対する私は唯一神であるぞ。魔人王将。
Blind maidens are just the dogs of the gods, to quote the original translation.
赤い霧が溢れ返って閻魔様だって怒ってます。怒ってますよね。きっと多分ガオー家赤閻魔の報い。
Oh no, ghost bullets! Oh no, different ghost bullets. At least it barely did any damage. Just as I can only do barely any damage.
私が守ってあげるわ。抑えつつ。結果だ我慢よ。スペルカードってこうやるのですよ。嘘だ。お化けかもしれないので切ります。
Matsuyoi reflecting satellite slash Dianthus. Feeling the need for a new weapon to use in battle, Yomo prepared this attack, but she never expected to use it so soon. Yuko told Yomo about Gensokyo and Dimension releasing the Scarlet Mist in the form of a scary story. Contrary to Yuko's intentions, the ever-impressionable Yomo became terrified of Gensokyo and concluded that she must exterminate all the spooks and monsters there with her blade, Hakuroken. Yuyuko couldn't decide whether this was an act of bravery or cowardice, but there was someone else who appreciated Yomu's ardor, the Yama in Hell. She also wished to know what was happening in Gensokyo, however she would prefer if Yomu showed more restraint with Hakuroken. Well, here's some ghosts to slash, Yomu. 修行中の技ですけど、強い反射影響 They sure are resisting that. Also pretty.
名前を言うのはよしなさい。真の魔法も知らずに。さあ、よく見るがよい。これが魔法図。魔界文書。おいでおいで。
Orbs! This isn't going particularly well, I gotta say. Something tells me that Shinki alone could not win this. Because I'm not sure if I can win it with the characters I have on me. Okay, we broke through Mima. Too bad the ghosts are still not on their final life pass. Makai fairies, go! No. That non-spell question mark. Okay, just one Mr. Ghosty not on the final life bar yet. Maybe we can do this. Just barely. Okay, good. Everyone's on their final life bar. That's all I wanted. Let's see how much damage you can do, Shinki. Beautiful network of divine judgment, the last word of Shinki from the isolated world. The celestial bodies that float out in space aren't distributed uniformly. On a large enough scale, it is said that they look like intertwined threads, I remember a while back people were talking about how they also resemble the neural network. Oh yeah, they said as the stars soar through space, the light particles they emit act as the neurotransmitters for a giant nervous system.
スペルカードってこうやるのでしょ。お化けかな。さあ、お前の罪を裁こう。美しく厳しく。母なる創造神の手の中で安らぎ眠るがよい。永遠に。神魔経絡キラ断罪。
And that is her final spell. Stupid ghost! Why do you survive? And by how much did you survive? Oh, by a little bit.
私が守ってあげるわ。ちょっとお願いね。
Sakuya, cleaning. Do it.
ありがたかったですね。ありがたかったですね。
Oh boy, I love these damage numbers. Illusion sign, kill a doll. Cannot kill anything that's already dead. She snipes enemies with extremely large knives. No one knows why Sakuya gave this name to her spell card. It's just as menacing as the last. What is certain, however, is that Sakuya is often considered to be like a puppet in the way she obeys her mistress's orders without question. In fact, Sakuya is also being likened to a dog by some people, and not in a good way.
そもそも亡骸は美しくない。
お化けかな。あまり時間を無駄にするとお嬢様が心配になる。服の買いも3着しかない。お前らの相手などしてられない。ゲンフ殺人ドール。
Well, too bad, Sakuya. We are going to be wasting time on this thing. At least it can't do any meaningful damage back. Let's try to get up to 3 power.
お化けですか。脅かさないでください。
貫くわ。
おいでおいで。うかつだったね。うかつだったね。
Worst case, we'll have to wait for Shinki to come back
よしよし。安心なさい。
in 3 times.
困らない。
お化けかな。
差し貫くわ。
怖いのできります。おいでおいで。
At least we've seen all the attacks this ghost can do. All 2 of them.
力になってあげましょう。 興味はない。ありがとうだったんですね。そこはないわ。考えなかったんですね。差し貫くわ。そうやって近づくと振りますよ。びっくりした。力になってあげましょう。
Finally, free power.
なぜハルドを奪った。
Now we can do 18 power with concession murder. He throws knives imbued with winter temperament. Actions performed within a closed-off world leave no perceptible trace to the outside. To those outside it, Sapir holds a certain amount of professional respect for the one who's cleanly prolonged this incident while maintaining their anonymity. She is standing right beside you. As somewhat the opposite of a detective, she feels like she placed in the perfect position to find the true mastermind. No one else even comes close, with thoughts of her mistress shivering within the freezing scarlet of a mansion never on her mind. Sakuya once more sets out to face Yuyuko and Bakuyokoro. This is just a random ghost, but please kill it.
春を吸った冥界はまるで独立した異界だわ。地上での花見、必ず実現してみせる。覚悟はいい？姫の亡骸。コンセッションマーダラー。
Yeah, that's not as much damage as that should be doing. Clearly these enemies have some kind of takes no damage from not god of Makai stuff on them. Finish this, Miss Shinky. I mean, even Shinky's gonna take a little bit with just regular attacks. Wow, 0 power! Soon I'll heal the ghost with my attacks. I'm looking forward to it. We're getting there. Slowly, very slowly, and painfully. Especially because now Shinky's not at full power anymore.
慢よ。よく考えたわね。お化け。さあ、行きなさい。
Four damage. Are we in the quadruple digits yet? Yes, yes, we are. 2 more rounds of this, maybe? This fast of a battle. Well, not with this amount of damage. There is a mechanic in this game that if battles take too long, you start doing less damage to enemies. Even if with the same amount of power behind it and all. You just get weaker with time. Which is meant to be a way to stop you from just tanking through a battle forever. Because some of the oldest threats in this game were just healers and defensive units tanking through stuff that they shouldn't have been able to do. Possibly with poison added to the enemies or something. 827 HP. And Yomu is actually dying. That would be the most tragic thing to happen. If after all this I would lose a character somehow to this damn ghost. Okay, back to full health. Let's do 0 damage. We have won. Goodbye. And now to do the same thing with Mima. Maybe that will go better. Mima Belhan. I got 16 money though, wow. Let's do it like this, maybe. Anyone I can trust with stuff? Not really. I don't want to switch out Mima. Because she's probably the only one that can do damage in this fight anyways. Hi, Nue. Sniping. Well, one thing I can say is, I love this remix of Complete Darkness. Worldwide vengeance. What offense could make someone wish for the destruction of the entire world? Evil Spirit Revival. If an evil spirit keeps reviving after being exorcised, your only option is to seal it away. Or befriend it.
を見せなさい。
Yin Yang release. Those Yin Yang items in her notes seem to harbor enormous power.
私するが養殖っ子なのね。レプリカじゃまさかお姉様が。
Yeah, and once again, not Mima characters. Very low damage. She finishes a taboo, 4 of a kind. She finishes a card game in this attack. You can't play poker alone, but that's easily solved by becoming 4 people. It's not known whether Flander actually clones herself for this purpose, but it would certainly let her play plenty of games. However, cloning herself in this way also makes her 4 times as destructive. The details of how exactly she clones herself are a mystery, but the fact that her identical selves can exist in different locations simultaneously suggests she has some kind of ability to manipulate space-time.
あなたがコンティニューできないのさ。もはや
どうでもよくなった。スペルカードなどこうすればよかろう。
Scarlet Gensokyo. She paints Gensokyo scarlet. The details of how the Scarlet Dimension came to Gensokyo are shrouded in mystery. But perhaps some clues could be found by investigating the Sage's experimental yokai expansion project that began long ago with the historic event known as the Vampire Incident. Uncovering the truth won't be easy, however, as there are conflicting interpretations of these events as well.
これは500年生きた少女の話。赤き魔の霧が満ちるとき。 幻想郷は誰の手に。表を上げよ。高魔境は今宵到来する。赤色の幻想郷。鶏ってさばけなくても美味しいわよね。それじゃあ私たちでいただくとするわ。
More mouths means more food needed.
弱すぎる。お前は弱すぎるよ。力があるなら見せてみよう。不可能だろうがな。 有限射手陣。
UED, ripples of 495 years. She ends her proof, regardless of what Flander was trying to prove. Her arguments are always backed up by a destructive power that seems to transcend all understanding. Her ability lets her move the eye of something into her hand and then destroy it. These eyes exist in all things. This sounds similar to mapping a transformation in a mathematical sense. It would be quite incredible if Flander could intuitively sense a transformed world.
さあ、私を倒してみせよ。スペルカードなどこうすればよかろう。
Nether sign, Scarlet Netherworld. She paints the Netherworld scarlet. It's not known whether this applies to the Scarlet Sisters or not. But vampires are generally considered to be a type of undying yokai called undead. Undead are basically former humans who have died yet linger in the world of the living. The Yama would usually send Shinigami to deal with such beings as soon as they can. But what do they think of vampires?
これは500年生きた少女の話。我が領土赤き死の香りで満たそうと。我はヴァンパイア。これこそ我が流儀なり。メーブ赤色の冥界。 私は495年間 一回も外に出てないの。ずっと地下で休んでいたわ。そこに飛び込む遊び道具 QED495 年のハム。
私を力で満たす者は現れるだろうか。私はそのものを待っている。復讐はその過程に過ぎぬよ。魔性幻想。
That was a little bit overkill. I'd like to see more overkills.
レプリカじゃなくて、
私は小食なの。
あなたがコンティニューできないのさ。
どうでもさあ、私を倒してみせよ。スペルカードなぞこうすればよかろう。
I feel like we might once again end up fighting against a fairy in the end.
鶏ってさばけなくても美味しいわよ。
Considering I'm very much focusing on getting rid of Shinki first.
赤く魔の霧が満ちるとき、赤色の幻想鏡。
弱すぎ有限殺人。
Yeah, because now Shinki is in her last phase, while the fairies are not there yet, quite. I can at least blast one of them down into that level as well.
あなたがコンティニューできないのさ。
どうでもよくなった。さあ、私を倒してみせよ。
ずっといたわ。
私、
気が利くわね。
病弱っ子なのよね。
まさかお姉様があなたがコンティニューできないのさ。
Not that it matters too much if I put more power behind your attack.
スペルカードなぞこうすればよかろう。
これは500年生きた少女の話。我が領土でアメーフ赤色の冥界。
私は495年間一回も外に出てないの。ずっと地球 QED495 年のハム。
私を力で満たす者は現れるだろうか。私はそのものを待っている。魔性幻想。
Okay. That leaves one fairy and not final round yet. Again!
それでは届かぬ。
And this fairy is far away from that, but doesn't matter. Let's blow things up.
私、日光に弱いのよ。私、
気が利くわね。
日光に弱いのよ。
Isolated Devil. She unleashes the power she gathered during her long isolation. Her bullets are targeted at everything above her room in the basement where she was confined. In other words, the rest of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. The mansion can be rebuilt, but it would not be a pleasant experience for anyone caught in this attack. This attack is the culmination of her pent-up frustration at not being let outside, a grudge towards her sister for not letting her participate in the Scarlet Mist incident, and much more besides. But she mainly created this attack because she desperately wanted to play outside. Isn't Flender supposed to wait until the incident is over before leaving her room?
あなたがコンティニューできないのか。
もはやそうね、そうしよう。
Actually, Nima, please focus on this one.
どうでもよくなった。そうね、そうしよう。
Much more Scarlet Destiny. The attacks with bullets died with the intense Scarlet Fate. Did you think this was the usual Scarlet Destiny? No. This definitely is infinitely more Scarlet. Ramilia didn't create her last word during this incident in our world, but that fate was altered due to the prolonging of the incident. Why has this world's mist become so much more dense, scarlet and enduring than planned? Perhaps it's about time Ramilia investigated personally.
これは500年生きた少女の話。結局また一人になる。最後はあなたのはずなのに。一人は弾幕を避けきれず、そして誰もいなくなる。幽閉魔女。
We went Q and then there was none. Except nobody will die from this.
私はお腹いっぱいだけど、あなたを食べたっていいの？だってほら、こんなにも月が赤いから。モアモアスカーレット・ディスティニー。
Hey, you actually broke the fairy that needed breaking.
これぞ悪霊の力よ。
これでは届かぬ。理由も不明。君も出ません。なんでよ。
Can I do this without summoning the background? That would be appreciated.
レプリカじゃなくてさ、飲み物しか見たことない。
力を見せなさい。もはや。ふん、いいじゃない。
どっちでもいいけど。わあ、大好物ね。お待たせ。
There she walks, just up and down the screen.
これぞ悪霊の力よ。 これでは届かぬ。
理由も不明。何も出ません。
I'm a little worried about Flame. She's taking a bit of damage. Maybe I should switch out, just so I never have to redo this. Goodbye, sis. Here we have someone that can actually put up barriers. That's good. And defense.
病弱なのね。まだまだそんな。
屈服するがいい。
私は小食なの。
I'm only gonna read your spell card description if you actually get to use it. But I would prefer it if you don't.
私を倒してみせよ。
Spirit of Ultimate Evil. The last word of Mima from the isolated world. recorded in M's report. Perhaps this is another planet or an astral world. I get the sense that feelings of resentment that have seeped down through this planet's crust all the way to its core. It feels old, like it's from the Middle Ages, the Bronze Age, the Age of Gods. No, it might be even older.
スペルカードなどこうすればよかろう。
でしょでしょ。
やはり惜しいな。白霊の力は。いや、今更か。少し本気を出してあげよう。お前にはそれで十分だ。
Let's hope it is, Mima.
君毛量メイ不満の。
Here's your personal red planet. Whatever planet it is. Thanks for cleaning up.
トンマクごっこって楽しいわね。グランドオールが夢中になるわけだわ。
Yay, 16 money. And that is all. See you again when I actually gacha for these two.
先ほどの弾幕戦、
It's
まだ改善の余地があり
a
ますね。
bit difficult to explain,
反
I
省
guess.
会をします。
Oh, and Aya is also already here. But don't think I'm gonna be rolling for that. Unless the other two go exceptionally well. See you on this screen soon enough. Goodbye.